Hey everybody, I'm Griffin, and this is Theta, and this is a death battle! No, that's not our intro. Welcome to Stone-Faced Reactions, where we watch videos and then don't react to them whatsoever. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stone-Faced Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to spin the wheel and get something random. We're gonna watch it, we're gonna react to it, and it's gonna be a good time. What's that big yellow Markiplier right there? Or is that
Nice.
something else?
I don't know. That's not what I see.
I gotta zoom in on it a little bit. It's also upside down for me, I think.
Well, I mean, it's
Dang, I
not what we rolled anyway, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I just it'll remain a mystery until I can read it. But that's Hercules versus Sun Wukong. That is almost certainly a death battle, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So, who won last time?
It is amazing
The
that
eternal question.
that's just amazing that between us, we always never know who won the last death battle, even though we both care.
Uh,
Let's see. That was Birds of Prey versus Suicide Squad. I think I won, so I believe I went with Birds of Prey, and that
yeah, you
won.
totally did.
So you get to choose.
There we go. So if I had to choose between Hercules and Sun Wukong, undoubtedly Hercules is probably no, it's not going to be the Marvel version if they're doing Sun Wukong, right? Yeah, it's just got to be generic historical mythology then, yeah? But then again,
You understand that DC also had a Hercules.
yeah, that's true. But I don't know who's had a Sun Wukong. Um,
It's not up to me to help you here, because I want to win.
I know. But that's the only thing that was in my mind. I'm just like confused, like which versions are going to be there. But ultimately, Sun Wukong is superior to Hercules, period, outright. Uh, he survived being under a mountain. He's basically a full and complete god with his own set of powers. He fights basically armies of demons for fun. If everyone knows Goku and understands that Goku is the was inspired by Sun Wukong. Uh, basically for the same reason. It's a character that loves to fight all the time and basically always wins. Uh, And that's probably a byproduct of what the journey to the West as a story is, which is like a episodic kind of thing that's more about like finding the spiritual enlightenment of like going on the journey rather than like reaching the goal. And Sun Wukong exists as the character to solve every physical problem instantaneously because the local Buddhist monk isn't going to do that. So and because they deal with demons and gods and spirits and all this stuff, he is the most powerful character in that entire story, probably in their entire mythos. And I don't see Hercules comparing. Hercules, by comparison, with his mythology, where he does his what is it, like 7, 9 tasks, I think. He does some superhuman things, but he doesn't do anything kind of on the scale of Sun Wukong. I think if you dropped a mountain on Hercules, he's dead. So that's kind of my whole argument. What do you think?
Yeah, I was waiting for the essay to finish.
Sorry. So in conclusion,
So this has been my thesis statement. Let me show you now the research that I've gathered.
here's my 20-page argument.
If I had the editing chops, I would just have put in a version of me slowly turning into a skeleton. But yeah,
Totally
no,
appropriate.
the trials of Hercules. You know, after God, was it Athena or Zeus that has his wife killed to frame him?
I think Zeus.
Yeah, just Athena does a lot of the wicked shit in Greek mythology, so it's first one I want to go to.
Mm.
No, I want to say it was Athena because, you know, Zeus is Hercules' dad, and Athena tends to want to take vengeance upon the people who Zeus has cheated on with.
Zeus's wife is Hera.
Okay, well,
Not Athena. Athena is Zeus's kid.
Oh, I thought Athena was the romanization of Hera.
Is it?
I don't know.
No.
That's what I thought.
All right.
Because these things are interchangeable, and I just tend to go back and forth, sometimes not remembering.
Do. But yeah, I've just pulled up the wiki page here.
Probably not, since they're named after the heavenly bodies. Anyway, uh, yeah, no, I mean, the gods gave Hercules a number of tasks they thought were impossible, and Hercules managed to accomplish all of them. I would say some of the things that Hercules had to fight were in fact more difficult than the things Sun Wukong had to fight. Specifically, like the Hydra. I mean,
Singular giant monster. Yeah.
well, I mean, an immortal giant regenerating monster. But anyway, also he was put upon by other gods. I mean, a lot of the Sun Wukong shit is like super-powered or earthly things, whereas Hercules was put upon by gods, and then their tasks for him to redeem himself.
Mm-hmm. It is. There we go. I found it. It's the 12 labors of Hercules.
Yeah, which are impossible tasks.
Yeah.
They only
Slay
gave
the
it to
Nemean
him.
lion, Hydra.
They only gave it to him
Cleaning
because
the
they thought that
stables.
he would be impossible for him to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Right. So he accomplished some things that are supposedly impossible, but that's like impossible from a mortal lens. Sun Wukong does the impossible in a divine lens.
Again, impossible from a mortal lens as dictated by the gods. And once again, I wouldn't say that killing the Hydra was impossible from a mortal lens so much as that it was just fucking impossible.
Oh, and I guess also to clarify, so the 12 labors were not a punishment from the gods. He killed someone, and the local king decided to punish him.
Yeah, his wife. He got
Yeah.
blamed for the murder of his wife. I didn't say they were punishments, I just said they were labors that he had to accomplish.
Eurystheus set 2 more tasks. There we go. That was the guy.
I also want to point out that I didn't research your thesis to try and prove you wrong.
Hey, you know, I do my research. You do your research.
We're not supposed to do research. That's been a whole statement of this whole time. We
Exactly. I didn't do
enter
any research. I just already knew.
we enter into this knowing what we already know. No, you just told me you brought up the Google page. You're already sorry, the wiki
I just
page.
wanted to do some corrections. That's all.
Yeah, you're already cheating, Griff.
No, how dare I?
You're not
All right.
entering into this in the gentlemanly way that we've established for the last 100 and something episodes.
Still, we have gone ahead and decided. I think we both do feel positively about our choices, and I guess we just gotta watch.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by BetterHelp.
We're all familiar with burnout, the lack of
BetterHelp,
motivation,
getting more help.
fatigue, the irritability without even knowing
Mental
it.
health
And
is
it
important.
doesn't have to just be work-related.
But wait,
It can be
if
from
you're
anything in our
irritable but you
lives.
don't know
BetterHelp
it, how do you
online
know
therapy
to go
wants
get
to
help
remind you
about
to
the
prioritize
irritability that you
yourself.
don't know
Talking with
about?
someone can help you figure out what's causing stress in your life.
You talk to
It
somebody.
can also feel great to let that weight off your
I
chest.
guess someone else
A
has
weight
to
you
tell you
might
that
not
you're
even
irritable.
know
Have you
was
never seen
there
a
for
Snickers
weeks,
commercial?
months, maybe years.
Hey, to stop
And
being
talking
so
to a
angry.
professional
You're
can
not
give
you
a
when you're
better
hungry.
perspective
Here, have a
on
Snickers.
and how to go forward with a healthier mindset. Good for you and others around you.
BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to.
It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be
Last thing you want
Finally.
when going into therapy is to be stressed
Our
out.
viewers get 10% off their first
Yeah, that's the
month at
best way to do it.
BetterHelp.com/deathbattle.
That's betterhelp.com/deathbattle.
And now that we've clarified how much stress you have, would you like to see a death battle?
Hercules,
Would you like
the
to know
god
more?
of strength.
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King.
Myth has many heroes, but few overcome their past to become legendary.
And maybe inspire some comics and anime to boot. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
There we go. It is just going to be straight up mythology then. Okay.
He's the man, the myth, the legend, he's Hercules!
Stories of Hercules exist in many iterations, but we'll examine the earliest known accounts. The
That's
legend
Hercules
of
Goes to New
Hercules.
York, an Arnold
So
Schwarzenegger
Disney
movie.
Zero to Hero
I know, I was about to say, like,
has
there's no
great
better
twist,
representation
and
of
like
Hercules than
most Disney
Schwarzenegger.
stories, it began with Zeus
No,
being a
there was
total
some
creep.
good
The god of
70s
thunder
movies.
did his thing with a princess by disguising himself as her husband,
Oh, what the hell, man?
and thus a demigod was born, who was named Alcaeus.
But Hera was pretty pissed Zeus had cheated on her yet again, so Alcaeus' human parents renamed him in her honor. Yep, Heracles means glory to Hera. Too bad she had already made up her mind, though, and that kid was gonna pay.
The child would need some way to survive Hera's wrath, so the goddess of heroes carried out
Gosh,
a plan
now
that
there's-
was, frankly, insane.
There's something to go
Athena
over. It's like,
tricked Hera
I hate
into
this
nursing
kid
the
that
baby
represents my
Hercules,
husband
and her
cheating
milk
on
gave
me.
him
It's like, but we're gonna name him after you.
unbound, even beyond many of the gods themselves.
Oh, change
strong
Is that better or
he hurt
worse?
her and caused her to spray milk all over the place like a boob sprinkler, which in turn created the galaxy. Yep, that's why we call it the Milky Way. Oh god, I'm never eating one of those candy bars again.
With his godlike
Mythology
power,
is sometimes
Hercules became a
ridiculous.
fierce warrior trained by the finest instructors in all of
Oh,
Greece.
please, let the entire battle be
Fortunately,
based
he
on the
wasn't
show
without
Young
problems.
Hercules.
While he was a natural at boxing, wrestling, fencing, and so much more, he struggled in the arts.
He even had a fit and accidentally killed his music teacher.
Little did Heracles know this was a sign of the tragedy to come. Many years later, as his name began to be synonymous with the term hero, he
That's the one
murdered
I was
his
thinking
wife,
about.
Princess Megara, and their sons.
Yeah, Hera had magically driven him into a kill frenzy rage, but that didn't excuse it for Herc. His guilt was there.
Desperate to atone, he sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi and learned his path to redemption.
You know, the whole
He
killed
would
his
submit
son
himself to
thing has a
King
different weight
Eurystheus and perform
when you
for
just
him
read that he had
grueling
51
labor.
sons.
The guy was a D-bag, but Herc did what he had to, and through his struggles,
Eventually,
built
one
a
of them
killer
pissed them
arsenal.
off.
For his first labor, he was tasked with slaying a lion whose hide could not be pierced by any blade.
So Herc just beat the lion to death with his bare hands, and took the pelt as armor for himself.
He defeated a flock of metal, man-eating birds with cortalas so loud no living thing could bear the noise. He battled a multi-headed hydra, cauterizing its necks after each decapitation so the heads would not grow back.
A lot of sliced off heads meant a lot of blood spilled, and Hydra blood is extra poisonous. Even gods fear it, so Herc dipped his arrows in the stuff for later use.
Just in
Back
case
when
you
he
need to
used
kill
them
a god.
Take out centaurs, titans, and even the sun.
Sort of. The details of this myth differ, but in some versions, Heracles was so fed up with the desert heat, he fired an arrow at the sun, the physical embodiment of the god Helios.
I guess that's one way to cool
Whoops,
up.
Eternal Night
That
suddenly.
global warming.
To
Isn't
reach
that a
the sun,
Skyrim
his
weapon?
arrow would have to fly 90 times faster than light. The maximum draw weight of a typical recurve bow is about 40 pounds. Shooting an
This
arrow
is
300 feet
preposterous math here, you
shooting
know?
one faster than light would require strength
The
incomprehensible
fact that you're doing the
to
math
mortal
up front, though,
sacrifice.
means that some
Herc
Wukong's gonna do
completed
something
his
that they're not gonna do the
king
math.
was a sore loser and axed
True,
two of 'em for
but
cheating.
it
His
is
Herc was a lot
ridiculous in
more
terms
clever than
of
he expected.
nobody
Hercules
making these
received
stories
two
at the
more
time
tests, one of which
were
required
under
him
the
to retrieve
perception
golden
of the
apples
sun
his
being that
parents.
far away or needing to
Ironically,
shoot an
originally
arrow that
belonged to Hera.
fast.
As part
That's
of his
it's just
plan,
not the
Hercules
text
would
anymore.
temporarily take on the role of the Titan Atlas as bearer of the heavens.
That sounds exhausting.
More than you think.
Yeah,
though.
he had to lift
While
the
modern
earth.
art often portrays Atlas carrying a globe,
Which, by the way,
Greeks perceived his burden
is
as a
a
celestial
thing
sphere.
they've
This
done
would
for
mean
Superman,
Hercules
by the
supported
way.
weight of not just the Earth,
When they
but the
test
whole
his strength.
universe.
Like,
There's one specific scene where he's pushing up a thing.
The common view
That's
of
the weight of
time
the
was that
Earth.
The universe was endless. Even chaos, the primordial origin of everything, was boundless. Meaning, Heracles held up the weight of conceptual infinity.
Luckily, Herc's got one hell of a drive to persevere and to make amends. Like when he met King Admetus, he got to party it up and was too drunk to
I
realize
would say they
that
didn't
he
cover
was
the amount of
dead
force
straight
that would be
because his
necessary
wife
to
had just
destroy the
died.
sun either.
Reminds me of
Mhm.
someone.
Can't imagine who. Well, Herc felt bad, so he decided to make it up to his bro by literally beating up
Half
the god
of-
death until
half
he
of Hercules'
returned
stories
his
are just,
wife.
whoops, he
That's
got too
true
drunk
best friend
again.
Material. Whiz.
Heracles frequently surprised others with his wit, particularly with finding solutions hidden in plain sight. For example, when he wrestled Antaeus, a giant who was invincible so long as his feet were on the ground, Heracles simply picked him up and strangled him in the air.
Even giants and the god of death couldn't end his story. Instead, he was tricked into putting on a shirt covered in that Hydra blood, and it totally screwed him up. What a BS way to go.
Yet also a testament to how a contest of power could not defeat him. Racked with unbearable pain and burning at a pyre, Heracles called to the deities who had watched his story unfold. And so, as his mortal form returned to ash, Heracles ascended to Mount Olympus,
where he was welcomed as the god of strength. Even Hera lightened up.
His life may have been one of strife and struggle, but on that day,
good old
all the
Smite.
world was left in awe of the legend of Heracles.
I feel even more that I'm gonna win now. Because he had the listed power of defeating
There
people
once
through
was a
common
mighty
sense.
monkey warrior, born of a mystic stone.
That is
and the
true.
energy of
Sun
the
Wukong has
moon.
zero common
Upon
sense.
birth,
He's
he
easily
graciously
defeatable
bowed
in
to the
this.
cardinal directions and
Shot lasers from his eyes. Strap in, folks. This one's a doozy.
this monkey soon befriended a band of other primates and rather narcissistically named himself their handsome monkey king.
But after a few centuries of monkeying about, he got a taste of the dreaded midlife crisis.
You see, the Monkey King was fierce and brave, yet he feared death. So he ventured to new lands in search of immortality.
Turns out he'd find a lot of it.
Training under the Taoist master Puti, he earned his first method of immortality and a new name. He would be the Monkey
His
Awakened
first
Voice,
method of
spoken
immortality.
as Sun Wukong.
He also learned a bunch of magic. He can ride clouds, make thousands of clones, heal from fatal wounds like decapitation, and transform into basically anything. A bird, some vapor, a pitchfork, even an incredible fighting temple.
With his famous cloud somersault, he could traverse the world at incredibly high speed. At first, a single somersault could carry him 108,000 li, li being a traditional Chinese unit equal to about 500 meters, making one somersault move 54,000 kilometers per second. Fast enough to circle the entire Earth in one leap.
And he'd only get faster from there. Monkey would do whatever it took to prove he was the best of the best.
When fighting the mighty deity Prince Nocha, his foe transformed into a more powerful visage with 3 heads and 6 arms.
But Sun was like, hey, I can do that too, and then did just that.
Sun Wukong eventually
Sun
returned
Wukong,
to his
master of
lineage
having
subjects,
every
and with
single
his newfound
power.
power amassed a veritable army. However, he felt no weapon in their arsenal suited him.
So he barged into the Dragon King's palace and demanded he hand over a weapon worthy of a king who could match the power of heaven. Yeah, Sun was pretty full of himself, but he wound up taking a pillar originally designed to measure the depths of the ocean.
What seemed like a worthless rod to the Dragon King was actually the perfect weapon for Wukong. Weighing nearly 8 tons, the Rui Jingu Bang can change size at his whim. It can shrink to the size of a needle or grow long enough to pierce the heavens.
The
Yep,
same
Goku's
heavens
extending
got
rod.
mighty mad with Sun
Yep.
after he crossed his name out of the Ledger of Death, making himself double immortal. Wait, how does that work?
And even more mad when
Double
he
immortal.
demanded to be formally acknowledged as the great sage equal to heaven.
Okay, we've got a headstrong goofball who quickly masters new powers and wants a fancy title. This is just shown in anime.
Now, the
It
Monkey
is.
King may have lashed out, but it was because when he requested a place in heaven, a place he truly believed he deserved, the Jade Emperor's court reduced him to a stable boy.
Beneath all his antics, what Sun wanted most was to prove himself.
Even with all the shenanigans, the Jade Emperor remained cautious and willing to placate Wukong.
By making him the watchdog of the Garden of Immortal Peaches. He totally ate that shit, didn't he, Wiz?
Oh,
Third
Wukong
immortality.
got hammered, ate most of the peaches, ran around the Jade Palace in a fit, and found 5 gourds of immortality pills, which he promptly
Fourth
swallowed.
immortality.
All of them.
Okay, so that makes how many layers of immortality now?
I'd say a few 100,000 if you count each individual peach and pill. When he sobered up, he knew he was in serious trouble. So, naturally, he prepared for war.
Wow, that escalated quickly. What are they gonna do? Kill him? So the Monkey King proved too strong for heaven. He battled all their best fighters and even matched Erlong Shen blow for blow in an epic battle of transformations. He's that guy with the third eye.
And heaven's greatest holy warrior. Yet no matter Erlong's form, Wukong always had a counter. Until Lao Zi threw in a convenient plot MacGuffin that captured the monkey. But even with Wukong in chains, heaven had a problem.
He just wouldn't die. Lightning, fire, even Lao-Zi's de-immortalizing furnace just made the monkey stronger.
Now, Wukong is not invincible. He has been hurt by the scorpion demoness's poison, which could even harm the Buddha, an awakened divine being liberated from the cycle of life and death entirely. Now tell me, how painful is that?
Pain is all in the mind, and I am absent of mind. Oh, God. Oh, no, I was wrong. It's bad. It's really, really, really bad. Oh, God, make it stop.
I love it.
But even after all that,
That was a good
Sun had
transition.
one more challenger to contend with. The Buddha himself.
Buddha approached Wukong with a contest. Leap out of his hand, and he could have the Jade Emperor's throne for himself.
Having no impulse control, the monkey agreed, and in an instant somersaulted to the very edge of heaven.
But he had already lost. Because Buddha achieved nirvana, he transcended the world, literally holding all of existence. So even at the edge of the universe, Wukong technically never left his hand.
For his rebellion, Sun was put in timeout, sealed under a mountain for 500 years.
But even son Wukong would find a chance at redemption. In his case, he was tasked with escorting and protecting a monk, Tansong Zong, or Tripitaka, on a journey to the west.
With additional companions, Pigsy and Sandy, the trip was a tough one, and Monkey abandoned it more than once. But through it all, he always returned to shine as the group.
Dragon Ball really was the best Dragon Ball series.
It's really good series.
Seriously, this guy could not stay out of trouble. It's like Wiz on a blind date.
Wukong has cracked apart mountains, slayed hundreds of monsters, and survived the Yellow Wind Demon storm that could destroy the universe, as in heaven, earth, the 18 layers of hell, and more.
That's cool and all, Wiz, but let's answer the real question. Can he beat Goku?
Maybe. During his journey, Wukong performed possibly his most legendary feat.
The answer is yes, Goku actually dies.
Is a mountain supporting the infinite cosmic sky.
And Sun just hauled it around on one shoulder. Just one. Because on his other shoulder was a whole other mountain.
After 14 years of travel, the journey was complete, and Wukong had finally accomplished a truly great deed. For this, he was given his long-awaited place among the heavens.
As the victorious fighting Buddha. Now that's gotta be an anime.
After so much time as a rebel, an outcast, and a truly unstoppable warrior, Sun Wukong had, at last, found his home.
I still think I'm gonna win.
For most of us,
Hercules won, did the Atlas thing, which kind of puts him in the same range as Buddha did in that story. His arrows also have the poison effect, which I'm counting as Sun Wukong's only other weakness. So I think also he has the superpower of common sense.
Yeah, the common sense thing is the biggest thing here, but there's something else that was giving Hercules an edge here, and I already forgot. Oh right, no. You mentioned they were going to show off not show off any math for Sun Wukong, and they didn't. So they're gonna do it after the fight.
Well, again, Sun Wukong was only hurt by the poison shit, and we have Hercules with the poison stuff that even hurts gods, so...
That's babbel.com/deathbattle for up to 60% off your subscription.
Babbel, language for life.
All right, the combatants.
Now we got the fight.
The data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Our tale begins atop a great mountain where the mighty Hercules sought a gift from the gods.
2D sprite time.
I'm in need of that apple. Relinquish it.
Sorry, I'm supposed to find my master some vegetarian food.
You'll find it elsewhere.
But Hercules was not so easily fooled. The Monkey King's strike rang true, but he not so easily overwhelmed the god of strength.
I like this inclusion of the narrator.
I think it's cute.
I am Hercules!
Gotta love when your fight doesn't even fit on the page.
Happens to Deadpool a lot.
Man, those light speed arrows sure are hitting their mark.
I'm sure they will in a minute.
And then it's snakes.
Real Naruto move.
Die! Die, demon!
And the thing he used to defeat the metal birds.
Mhm.
The monkey
Really
king
love the
fell
harpsichord
into a
thing going on
strange
there.
forest, in awe at such a wondrous fight. But should he mistake his fear, he might lose his head.
Only 10 billion more lives to go.
Woo! I haven't had such fun since I
I think the thing that the mythology recap we got didn't account for was that the gods tried to kill him thousands of times. Which means that they must have used some of his lives doing it.
It depends on how immortality works, and the question is, I don't think anyone knows.
Well, the start of it seemed to indicate that they were like extra lives.
You've had your fun, beast, but I've had enough!
Power punch.
His infinite strength, effectively, so.
In heavens above, the gods witnessed their earthbound selves, and so joined in battle. The god of strength mustered the heart of Olympus, while the great sage harnessed power equal to heaven. Thus, the Monkey King emerged victorious!
Yeah, I don't like where that went. 'Cause that seems stupid from the outset. Gods of Olympus versus ancient Chinese gods as a whole.
With a formidable foe slain,
I figured he was always a little outclassed.
so ends our great tale of
Well,
East
no,
and
because
West.
if it was human Hercules versus mortal Sun Wukong, or immortal Sun Wukong,
Hercules was among the great
Hercules would win.
but the great
But they
sage
just
of
went,
heaven
we're
held
gonna
many
pit
more
gods
fate.
versus gods, which
His
wasn't
sage
given
son might not
in the
measure up to
matchup.
The god of strength, strength, but he totally could. Remember, he carried Sumeru on his back, the mountain holding up the infinite celestial sky, like how Heracles held up the infinite celestial sphere.
As befitting
Yup.
heroes of myth, they were on par in that they were
Right,
both
but the sphere is a
incomprehensibly
physical
strong.
concept,
However, Wukong's
and the
fighting
sky
ability
is
could
literally
bounce back
nothing.
from Heracles' deadliest blows, whereas Heracles did not have a similar option.
But Heracles did have one way of putting the Monkey King down. His arrows dipped in Hydra poison.
The Hydra poison threatened even the gods of Olympus, similar to the scorpion sting. Whether or not it would be fatal is questionable, but it could have incapacitated Wukong, similar to how it affected Heracles himself.
But that is one very specific win condition, and we're looking at this with every possible option in mind.
With his variety of clones, transformations, and numerous other spells, Wukong's arsenal was far more versatile.
Like, there was nothing stopping him from making thousands of clones of himself and just sitting back while they beat up Herc for him. Unsportsmanlike? Sure. In character? Absolutely.
Even then, those arrows would have to actually strike Wukong, which would be extremely difficult. Yes, in some depictions, Heracles could potentially shoot the son of Helios, his arrows flying 90 times the speed of light. However, in his contest with the Buddha, Wukong leapt to the edge of the universe in a single second.
Gotta love the
To do
math.
so, he had to be moving over 1.4 quintillion times faster than light.
Making him way faster than Herc could ever hope to be.
Heracles held might of mythic proportions, but barring a lucky shot, Sun Wukong's versatile magic, similar strength, and absolutely absurd speed overcame this foe. Fitting for heaven's equal.
When fighting Sun Wukong, Heracles missed his chance.
The winner is the Monkey King, Sun Wukong.
And there we go.
I mean, I don't disagree with the wrap-up explanation. I disagree with how the fight went in the show.
Right, that I can understand where you're getting with that. Oh, is that Boba Fett? Versus the Predator.
Yep, it's already on our list.
I saw Boba Fett and I got instantly distracted. I think as per usual, of course. So when it comes to like applying these numbers to stuff, these are two mythological things made in a time with a different understanding of things, and then made metaphorically. Applying direct numbers to them and reframing it within our current understanding of like how far is the sun away and how far is it to the edge of the universe is a little disingenuous in terms of trying to actually compare them on on their like actual nature. You know what I'm saying?
I don't agree with that at all. I have no problem with that because that's the basis of our entire thing. Because we do this for comic book characters and movie characters, which are what
but those are made in our own framework.
You know you can't hear me when you're talking. See, yeah. What
There
I'm going to say is our modern mythology. So I have no problem doing it to actual mythology. What I was saying my problem lies in is that instead of having our two characters fight, they literally just ended it with which mythology has the better gods. And of course the gods of Olympus don't stand up to the gods of the ancient China, because ancient China are literally actual gods, and the gods of Olympus are children's of progeny. So they don't stand up to one another. The gods of Olympus do not equal the ancient Chinese gods, and those aren't the people who should be fighting anyway.
I think that's come up a few times in other death battles, which is more like the scale of one series or collection of characters versus another just kind of don't match. I don't have any particular remembrances right now. I think the Venom versus the other character fight, I forget what that character was, or what they were from. I think that fight was like a illustration of like, oh, these two series are technically not within the same scale of each other.
But even then, that was still a comparison of two characters, and showing that the worlds weren't equal. This battle ended with the might of all the gods of Olympus, and with the might of all the gods of the Jade Empire. It's like, those aren't who are fighting. They don't have the equivalent powers. They shouldn't be. They should have stayed in the mortal realm with an immortal Sun Wukong and a mortal Hercules, and that should have been the end of the battle, with Hercules being mortal and Sun Wukong not. I don't argue that the battle itself shouldn't have ended that way, except for the very end. I don't argue the ending. I mean, I don't argue the result. I argue how it ended.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess though it has ended, and it has ended with me winning. Yeah.
Yeah, it means I get to select next.
Yep. All right then. So that's it for Death Battle and Stone Face reactions for today. I'm Griffin. That's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you, everybody. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone Face Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?